I'm actually very nervous today to be up here, partially because of the name, the U.S. Asia Entertainment Summit. It's a pretty scary thing. When they invited me to speak here, I was like, no way. Because seriously, like in the news recently, people say the wrong thing at things like this, and their careers are over. This is the season of xenophobia, the high season, and the spouting whale gets harpooned, even on college campuses in the United States, some of the top schools, they're calling us out. And it's contagious. It's like these California wildfires, like one ember, and then boom, thousands of acres go up in flames. And one person says something, and then he gets destroyed, and then everybody else sees that, and they all get xenophobia too. So I asked myself, Leehom, do you like your job? I said, yes, I do. Do you want to keep your job? I was like, yes, I do. Then why on earth would you agree to speak at the U.S. Asia Entertainment Summit at a time like this? And they're going to be live streaming. I thought about it a little longer, and then I remembered what my friend Joe Tsai said once in an interview. He said, there aren't a lot of industry leaders in China that can speak at international forums in English, and that's a problem. He said, how many Jack Ma's are there? And he's right. You know, in our industry, in the music industry, the film industry, how many industry leaders in China can come here, speak in English? Of course, there are translators, and they do a great job. Not knocking on translators, I would never do that. But let me ask you this. If anybody's ever gone to a Chinese restaurant in the United States and read the menu, you know that sometimes Chinese gets translated into English, and it's not exactly coming out right. We don't have the visual, but I'll read some of these case in points to you. By the swimming pool, there's a sign that says, 节约用水,文明你最美. In English, saving water, you are the best. And then right under that, it says, 小便入池,文明你最美. Urinating into the pool, you are the best. Saving water, urinating into the, oh no. Oh no. There's another one that I love. It's called, well, on the menu, 夫妻肺片. Famous dish, Chinese food. It's the husband and wife lung sliced. And there's also the 杭儿酱丁, a famous tofu dish from Hangzhou. It's translated as hang small children sauce. And these are all perfect translations. Very accurate, very literal. And now we've all laughed at that, but actually, the other half of the joke is on you, because have you ever thought how well English translates into Chinese? They have low culture, lot of poetic, and sometimes vulgar. You get what I'm saying? So I knew that Joe Tsai was right, and that I was screwed. I had to do this. But I thought, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? It dawned upon me that there was a simple solution. Say nothing that offends anyone. Say nothing controversial. Yes. At the same time, address the one thing that is the biggest problem, and I think that's the disease itself, xenophobia. The fear or hatred of the foreign, because that's really the problem. And I always say my big fat claim is that what we do, making music, making movies, telling stories, can fix that problem. And what's so special about pop culture? Well, I made the analogy once that China and the US are like roommates freshman year of college. They're these perfect strangers, and all of a sudden, living in the same room, sharing the same bathroom, shower. It's in the sharing, though, and the codependency or the yin-yang aspect of it all that gives us the potential for or the potential to become best friends. I remember one day I came back to my dorm room when I was in college, and the door was locked. And there was a girl in the room. My roommate had brought his girlfriend back, and I was like, I could hear them in there, and I could have, banged down the door. I was like, come on, guys, I got early class tomorrow morning, come out. But I just kind of went into the common room and took a nap on the sofa. And the next thing I knew, my roommate was shaking me awake, and he was so apologetic. He was like, oh, thanks, man. I didn't know one thing would lead to another, and it would take so long. And he'd never been so nice to me before, right? He shook my hand. He's like, thank you, bro. How can I pay you back for this? And we'd helped each other out. And it was beautiful. And that's one of the reasons why we became such great friends. Let me ask you, for those of you in the crowd who are as old as I am, can you remember when there was no such thing as politically correct? You remember when PC just started? Well, before PC, those were good times, right? You could say whatever you want. You could run your mouth. No one would ever troll you on social media. No one would cancel you. Yeah, they're canceling people these days. You read about that? That's cold. But sometime in the 80s, I remember I was in junior high, one of my buddies was like, you can't say black anymore. I was like, you can't say black, really? Yeah, it's African American now. I was like, okay, African American. Yeah, black isn't PC. I'm like, PC, what's that? Is it politically correct? Oh, all right. And then a few weeks later, he was like, you can't say Oriental anymore either. And I was like, what do you mean I can't say Oriental? I can't say Oriental? I've got an Oriental rug in my room. What am I going to do about that? He's like, I don't know what you're going to do about the rug. What do they call it? I still don't know, but Oriental's not PC anymore. I'm like, oh, politically correct. He's like, yeah. So if someone says Oriental, I'm supposed to be offended now, right? He's like, yeah. Okay. Got it. And that transition, do you guys all remember that? It was weird at first, but now it's kind of second nature, right? It's Asian American, African American, LGBTQ, all these terms now just kind of roll off the tongue, like second nature now. But it's really because the country's getting bigger, and we start realizing that, yes, there are actually hundreds of millions of people living together, and we have to be respectful. And what's happening now is that everything has gone global, right? Worldwide. So we have to be not just PC in the USA, PC in the PRC. You like that one? How about this one? You also got to be PC in the whole WORLD. What a drag, though, right? I don't want to live in these times. But guess what? It's not as bad as you might think. Because I have this gift, this great gift, this privilege that a lot of people don't, which is I live in China. I'm Chinese, and I'm seen as a Chinese in China. And I grew up in America, and when I come here, I'm seen as an American, and I'm so lucky because I can go to the mountaintop and see the truth on both sides. And the people, their lives, their loves, their fears, their hopes, their dreams are pretty much the same. I write about these things, humanity, and I sing about it every night. And if it wasn't true, then I think people probably would not be listening to my songs, probably would not be coming to the concerts. So don't believe the hype that says we're so different from one another, trying to divide us. It's not true. It's not true. Some people say to me, not me, man, I'm a true artist. No one's gonna censor my work. I say, really? You ever worked with a major Hollywood studio before? Talk about compromises, right? I don't know any director who gets first or final cut, right? Or first cut, really. I don't know many musicians here who also don't have to spend lots of time in meetings with the label, with their A&R people, who say, oh, that's a nice song, but it's not going to make the record. Or, yeah, that's a good song, but maybe you could change the title and that word over there. I mean, nobody said it was easy to make a hit. It's like that Coldplay song. Nobody said it was easy to make a hit. So, look, if you want to run your mouth or run a coffee house on the street corner, I think you the man, those are your house rules. Your house rules, right? But if you hope someday that your coffee house can become a franchise, it becomes Starbucks, then you got to start learning the rules of the global game. That's all I'm saying. And it doesn't always suck because there are a lot of other things that are awesome that can come out of this era of globalism. Let me put it this way. In our industry, we're all members of the entertainment industry, right? Some of us make movies, some of us make music. We're in LA, so I assume everybody's involved in this industry somehow. What's the biggest pain point for us in our industry? Well, I think it's the fact that 90% of movies lose money, right? That's rough. If you make a stinker, then your next film doesn't get made. If you make 2 bombs in a row, that's a lot of pain. But simple math, the annual box office in the United States is $10 billion. The annual box office in China is also $10 billion. So double dip box offices, and you double your chances of recouping. So instead of 9 out of 10 movies lose money, potentially only 8 out of 10 movies could lose money. And here we are, still making movies. But let's look at the trend. 5 years ago, the US was already here, $10 billion a year. China was way down here. Now they've converged. China's a $13 trillion economy, growing at 6.3, 6.4% a year. So I think it's safe to say with $800 billion of wealth being created every year, like the size of an Amazon or an Apple or a Google, every year, that much wealth is created in the country. I think it's fair to say that China's influence in U.S. filmmaking is here to stay. So co-productions like The Meg, or these tentpoles like The Avengers that keep getting made more and more and more of, it's because they are double dipping and they are crushing it. And their co-productions pass the censors, they enjoy mass exhibition in China, and the box office reflects it. China's influence on U.S. filmmaking is here to stay. I think vice versa as well, by the way. Hollywood will influence Chinese films more and more in the future, too, because as China grows, its middle class grows from 300 million to 400 million, 500 million. Chinese filmmakers will also have to cater their tastes to global audiences, too. And I'm not saying this is good or bad. This is just the way it's going to be, because it's going to grow. When you're able to get past those funny translation issues and cultural differences and ideological and political differences, and really strip it down to what Tony Robbins calls the basic human needs. You can really get down to the core of what it means to be human, that we all have needs for certainty and variety, the need for fun, the need for significance, the need to grow. We all need love. We all need connection. We all need to contribute to society. We all need to be part of something bigger than ourselves. And if we can recognize and honor these common needs in other human beings who might not necessarily agree with us in every single data point, there are 5,000 data points in Cambridge Analytica, that's a lot. It's like Ellen DeGeneres said it beautifully the other day when she said, I'm friends with a lot of people who don't share the same beliefs that I have. And everyone was like, oh my God, what an idea. Be friends with someone who doesn't share your views. I thought that was just being nice. I want to talk a little bit about our industry, pop culture, and highlight some of the uncanny similarities and parallels between what's happening in the US and China. In movies, we already talked about tent poles and double dipping. If you can double dip, why not, right? Will Smith, he was just in Shanghai promoting Gemini Man. He's a double dipper. I remember him saying a long time ago, he asked Arnold Schwarzenegger, how do I become a global star? I don't want to just be an American film star. I want to be a global film star. And Arnold was like, if your movie is released in Argentina, you go to Argentina. So there Will Smith was in Shanghai last week, being a double dipper. In music, it's also interesting to see what's happening over the last year. Just year. Same thing in China and the US. In China, Douyin took over. In the US, TikTok took over. And they're the same app. Isn't that incredible? So in the US, TikTok was responsible for this Old Town Road, you know, da-na-na-na-na-na-na-na. All those guys dressed up as cowboys doing that same dance that you saw. It's 15 seconds long and you just can't not see it. The meme. And in China this year, Douyin, there was a song called 缘分一道桥, Bridge of Fate. I know there's a piano over there, but no. I won't sing it. No. I'm making a change. I'm a game changer. I'm not playing piano today. And why did these songs become hits? Because same thing. With 缘分一道桥, everyone dressed in traditional Chinese clothing, and they did the same, not the same as Old Town Road, but it was a dance that everybody did. It was like kids and grandmas and twins and like 5-year-old children. And the app wagged the dog. You know that term? It's like the tail wags the dog instead of the other way around. Both in both countries. And when you go to Tencent Music, which has 80% of the music streaming in China, and you look at the charts, most of the top songs in the charts this year are there because they were successful memes on Douyin. Yeah, so a lot of people are like, how come that song, like, just on Tencent Music, they're like, that's not a great song. Why is it #1 this week? And it's because this thing happened, this video happened that everybody started sharing and it went viral. These little 15-second feedback loops, right? That with the AI targeting your user behavior, you can't escape it. And another frontier of music, look at live touring. In the US and China, artists used to tour to promote their albums, right? Used to tour to promote an album. Then, recently, everyone started making albums to promote the tour because nobody bought CDs anymore, right? This is all happening in parallel. And now, they're just like, forget the CD, forget the album, let's just go on tour. And you see that happening in both countries. Touring is really where it's at now, and like Live Nation, for example, this relatively new company, it's huge. It's like $17 billion market cap. And every musical star is looking to do the double dip, right? There are 11 cities in the United States with 1 million people or more. So when you get to those 11 cities, you can do a stadium concert. You know, it's a big deal. Guess how many cities in China have over 1 million people? 200. 200 cities. So Taylor Swift is touring in China. So is Bruno Mars. So is Paul McCartney. So are the Rolling Stones. So double dipping is the way, and I think it's only going to be more so in the future. Let's go a little further. in the realm of television. This is interesting because I think you'll get a kick out of this next example. The highest rated music TV show in the United States gets nominated for Emmys every year. In its 16th season is The Voice. Guess what? The highest rated music TV show in China is The Voice. Now, and it's coming up on its 9th season. I know a little bit about it because I'm a mentor on the show. But it's really the Dutch company Talpa, founded by John de Mol, that created the secret sauce. But these are all examples, right? On TV, you got The Voice. Music, you got TikTok or Douyin, the advent of live touring now taking over. In film, you got the Meg, you got these co-pros, you got the Avengers. So these are all common trends, shared trends in global pop culture. So again, let's stop trying to believe the hype that we are all so different. What's the huge difference between Twitter and Weibo? Or Amazon and Alibaba? Or WeChat and WhatsApp? Well, WeChat is pretty, yeah, that's like your Swiss Army knife. WhatsApp wishes it could have that functionality. But seriously, or what's the difference between TikTok and Douyin? They're the same. And there's so much similarity, but even with similarity, it can come across to the untrained eye as so different when you say that lovely Hangzhou tofu dish as hang small children's sauce. Ooh, no thank you. You see what I'm saying? So today, if nothing else, I just want to spread the message that there is an antidote to xenophobia, and it's communication, it's acceptance, it's open-mindedness, it's friendship, it's love, and it's the truth. In fact, any one of those things helps put xenophobia in its place. So let's stop being judgmental. Let's stop discriminating Chinese students on US college campuses, because I can't think of a better way for China to understand the US than coming here during the formative years, learning and befriending Americans, and going back home, knowing the truth that they are not all low culture, not poetic, and are sometimes vulgar. This isn't a zero-sum game. If you make $1, that doesn't mean I have $1 less in my pocket. That's the type of thinking that leads to the trap called the Thucydides trap. We should learn from history and know better than to fall for that old trap. Instead, let's remember the words of Dale Carnegie. When two people agree on everything, one of them is unnecessary. So let's stop being judgmental and start appreciating each other's differences, because it's our differences and how we face them that make us better. Thank you very much.